Welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to start diverging from factoring for a little bit and talk about other methods to solving quadratics. But before we can cover those other methods, one important thing is being able to simplify radicals. Okay, so we're going to focus on simplifying radical expressions in this one. Now, there's a couple steps in order to do this. The first step is you need to look for a perfect square. What I mean by a perfect square is you're looking for a number in this list right here. Those are going to be the perfect squares that you're looking to pull out. Now, you may have this list in front of you as you're doing your practice work. In fact, I recommend you have this list in front of you when you're doing your practice work. And all you have to do is search for one of those numbers. Now, some of you, this will come pretty naturally. You'll easily pick up on what number can pull out. Others, it may not be so natural. So, I want to show you on your calculator, if you're struggling finding a perfect square, this is what you can do. So, go to the calculator. Now, our first example is a square root of 50, and we need to find a perfect square that divides out of 50. So, you can just start checking. Take 50 and try 4. That's the first perfect square. And you can see it doesn't pull out nicely. You can try 9. Also doesn't work. You can try 16. Also doesn't work. You can try 25. 25, aha, there we go. We found a perfect square that evenly divides out of 50. It's going to be 25 times 2. So that's what I'm going to change this into. This 50, I'm going to change it into 25 times 2. And now that I've done that, now I take the perfect square portion, that 25, and I know what the square root of 25 is. The square root of 25 is just 5. So I'm going to write it as such, and we're going to consider that answer, 5 square roots of 2, that is going to be our simplified expression. Okay? So that's kind of the goal of all of these, is to find that perfect square that can pull out, and then just show what its square root is. So the next one, 54. Again, let's say you're not sure. So we have to play a guessing game to find out what pulls out of 54. So I'm going to start at 4. Nope, doesn't work. 54 divided by 9. Well, there we go. 9 worked. So 54 is 9 times 6. So I'm going to go back and show myself splitting it up that way. 9 and 6 gives me 54. Well, again, I know what the square root of 9 is. I know the square root of 9 is 3, so I can call this 3 square roots of 6. That's going to be the end of that expression. Okay, next one, 75. Again, let's say you're not sure, so you have to go and start playing your guessing game. 75 divided by 4. Nope, doesn't work. 75 divided by 9. Doesn't work. 75 divided by 16. Doesn't work. 75 divided by 25. There we go. We found our one that works. 25 times 3. So that's how I'm going to split this up. 75 is going to be 25 times 3. Square root of 25, I know is 5. So this is going to be 5 square roots of 3. All right, 128. So 128, again, that's a relatively big number. So you may not know off the top of your head what pulls out of that. So again, let's go to our calculator. 128 divided by 4. Well, this actually ended up working. Actually, 4 times 32. Now, I do want to caution you though, that sometimes a bigger one will work as well. So I'm going to put down 4 times 32. just as a little backup. But I'm actually going to keep searching to see maybe there's a bigger one, because you do want to make sure you're pulling out the biggest one. So I'm going to keep looking. Divided by 9, nope. Divided by 16, nope. Or wait, I'm sorry, 16 did work. So 16 times 8. Well, let's just keep looking, because there may even be a bigger one that still works. So 128 divided by 25, nope. 128 divided by 49, nope. 128 divided by 64, oh, 64 times 2. All right, so 64 and 2. Okay, so notice here, at any point if I had stopped, I wouldn't have a fully simplified expression. But since I'm breaking it down into 64 and 2, you can tell clearly there's no more perfect squares that pull out of 2. But if you notice, there is a perfect square that pulls out of 8 and is a perfect square that pulls out of 32. So that's why I knew to keep searching, because there were more perfect squares that could pull out. So again, the focus of this is just realizing to go for the largest perfect square. Square root of 64 is 8. And we still have the square root of 2. So again, thank you for joining me. Again, just please make sure, remember to search for the largest perfect square that pulls out, and then go from there. So again, please make sure you have this completely filled out, and come see me if you have any questions.